you're planning to ask that question that every woman wants to hear from their loves right now, I want you to keep watching this video. In this video today, I want to be talking about several things every man should know about marriage before popping that $1 million question, will you marry me, and and all the hype that comes with it. Welcome back to Bloody Canny Marriage School, the place where we help the unmarried to choose right and to keep the married from running until they must. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do so now. We have a lot of things we want to uncover, discover about marriage, and we want you to join us in this adventure. So if you've not joined us, if you've not subscribed, and you are not sharing our videos, you are making a big mistake. So hit the subscribe button, the notification button, so that when we drop our new videos, you'll be the first to watch. And if you have your friends who are not married, your friends who are married and having one issue or the other in their marriages, please share our videos to them. They will learn one or two things. Remember, this marriage thing is almost or even sometimes more than half of our life. So we got to do it very, very well. I mean, we have to choose the best partner, and when we are in it, we have to do it very, very well. So let's jump into the topic of today. The things like 20, 15, or 10 or more things every man should know about marriage before popping that question, will you marry me? The first one is patience. Marriage requires a lot of patience. From the year one of your marriage till, in fact, till the end, let me say, till death do us part and all that. Patience is very, very important. If you want to understand your wife, if you want to tolerate your wife, if you want to live with her harmoniously, you really need to be patient. Remember, you didn't marry an angel who was maybe way built from heaven to you. No. You married a human being with her own unique idiosyncrasies. That's what I call it. Yes, as a woman, I have my own idiosyncrasies. And my husband, after all these years of marriage, have discovered them. And he can only live with me till now because he is patient to accommodate them. So if you are entering this institution, patience is very, very important. Another thing you need to know is that communication matters a lot. Effective communication. In English, they said effective communication is when you send a message and the recipient receives and understands it. Please don't assume that your wife knows what you want. Don't assume that she should know, or don't assume that she knows everything that you hate and everything. During courtship, like I always say, everybody's acting drama. Like we are always on our best behaviors. You don't allow your wife to see the bad side of you. She doesn't allow you to see the bad side of hers and everything. But when marriage comes, immediately you two jump into the institution. Everybody, like, it's so open, you can't hide it. There is no hiding place. So whatsoever it is you don't need, whatsoever it is you don't like, please open your mouth and tell it to her and say, I don't like this. This is my limit. Please, 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 and please. Or if there's any issue, you guys sit down and talk about it. Some men will keep mute, like they don't discuss it, they don't talk about it. No. It is so necessary that you communicate effectively. Mark the word effectively. Did she understand? Use the language she will understand and pass your message across to her. One other important thing you have to know about marriage is that you must be flexible. The flexibility I'm talking about here is your ability to compromise a little. When things come up like this and you guys have different opinions, let there be that middle ground. Don't just discard her feeling. Don't just throw away her own opinion or her own perspective. Like I always say, our opinion, perspective about life and everything is shaped from our own experiences. Everybody has their own individual experiences that has shaped their opinion and perspective. And remember, she is not your sibling. You didn't marry your sister, like somebody you've known for years and everything. No. So you have to at least learn to compromise a little. Don't be a die-hard, It must be like this. When issues arise or when there is a disagreement and everything, you want it to end with what you want and everything. No. Learn to compromise a bit. If you've not said, will you marry me, please bear this in mind. Marriage requires compromise from the men, because it's always men that will say it must be like this. I mean, some men, let me not generalize, okay? Some men will say it must be like this, and if it's not like this, that means you don't respect me. That means you are not a good wife. That means, oh, no, 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 no. Learn to compromise in marriage. It's so necessary. Please, please, and please. We always say that men want their wife to respect them. But when it comes to marriage, remember that respect is what? Reciprocal. You respect your wife, she respects you. I'm not saying she should not respect you as a husband or anything, but that respect we are talking about here, she's a human being like you. Just take me for instance. I have, things to offer. Like, I have things I can offer in the relationship for things to move forward, and then my husband will come and discard my opinion, throw it away, and tell me you don't know anything, and or he wouldn't even give me the voice, like the time or the space to voice it out. No, 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 no. That will make me so, that marriage will become boring, and I will feel as if maybe I'm not even valued and all that. So please remember, you have to respect your wife. If you want somebody you can respect, or you find it so difficult to respect women, make sure you clean your eyes. Make sure your eyes are wide open now that you want to choose, so that you can find a woman that is worthy of respect. I mean, there are women who are making contributions in the society, who are making names for themselves. There are women entrepreneurs and everything. Those kind of women deserves your respect. So if you are that kind of a person that need those levels of women for you to respect them, make sure you go for them from this beginning. One very important ingredient that makes marriage work is trust. So if you are going to ask that question now, make sure you are ready to trust your partner, not just because of infidelity and all that. No, trust her. Maybe trust her decisions, trust that she can achieve some things, or trust that she can handle some things. And with that trust now, you can allow her to have her own space. You can allow her individuality to reign. Like, let her be who she is supposed to be. So don't go and marry somebody you cannot trust and then you start complaining. Marriage requires trust. Without trust, both of you cannot stay till death do you part. I've often emphasized on this in my videos. Individuality in marriage, it's so, so, so important. I've said this before. I am an individual. I have I have my needs. I have things that makes me happy. I have the kind of friends I want to keep. I have the kind of hobbies and maybe goals I want to achieve, hobbies I want to pursue and all that. Please remember, if you get married, allow your wife's person to shine. Don't try to assimilate. Don't try to stop. Don't try to cut off. Don't try to trim her. That's why I'm always saying, find who you can live with. Don't just marry for one particular thing that will not, that will not sustain the relationship for years to come. Find the woman you can live with in every aspect, so that this individuality thing will not be a struggle. In fact, instead of trying to, bring her down or trim her or redesign her the way you want, encourage her to pursue those interests, those goals that, that she loves or she wants. When she's happy, you are happy. I mean, a woman who is bitter in her heart can never make your home comfortable. You want a home, you want a wife, you don't want a girlfriend or whatever, but you really need that woman to be herself. Let her be happy. When she is happy, she brings the happiness and it flows to everybody. But when a woman is bitter, I don't even know how your life will be like. Now, let me also point this out. No matter how busy you are, no matter how self-sufficient you are, no matter how in charge you are as a man, there are things your woman will do for you. And when she does those things, please learn to show her appreciation. Appreciation is good. I mean, it keeps it makes the heart warm. And she will be happy. Even God, when you thank God for what He has done, He will do it again. He will do more for you. So learn to be appreciative. Don't take things for granted. I know some men, when they get married like this, to them, I've paid your bride price. It's your duty to serve me. These things you're doing are what you're supposed to do. I don't need to thank her for doing her work. I mean, some men are like that. I don't have to thank her for doing the things she's supposed to do as a wife. It's her responsibility. Yeah, it's your responsibility. But when you don't have money, you want the woman to understand. When you are sick, you want the woman to leave everything about herself and carry you. Is that one her responsibility too? I mean, she's not a doctor. If you're sick, you should go and see a doctor. How come you expect your wife to, go out of her way to pamper you, take care of you in your sickness? And some men, when they don't have money, you see their wives being in charge, trying to provide for the family. Is it her responsibility? No. So please, whatever your wife is going to do for you in your marriage, learn to show appreciation. Okay, tell her you've tried, thank you for your support, I appreciate having you in my life, and all that and all that. I've often heard a lot of people advise women in maybe chaotic relationship, especially marriage, that women build their homes. When their husbands are misbehaving, the society will tell them it is the woman that will build the home. And what they are saying is that she should forgive the man, continue staying in the marriage, and bear the man's fault. Now, I want to tell you, as a man, you should also learn to do what? Forgive your wife, bear her fault, and maybe make sure to assist in building the home. So if you are going to say, will you marry me now? Please, if you've not known how to forgive, learn it now, because she will offend you. Let me say this again. You are not going to marry an angel sent from heaven. You are marrying a human being, and that human being has faults. That human being has, sometimes of weaknesses, and, sometimes that she will react the way you didn't expect. We expect you. In fact, it's so important that you learn to forgive and then move on. Now, let's talk about intimacy in marriage. When we talk about intimacy, people will just, level it at this, sexual intercourse, like relationship, making love, physical, this and all that. No, 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 no. Intimacy in marriage also involves, emotional intimacy and intellectual intimacy, bonding. You and your wife should bond. That's why, please, if you are somebody who expects a woman to make a meaningful contribution, please make sure the person you are marrying now has something to offer here. Like, there are women, I'm a woman, sorry to say this, but there are women that only spend their day learning about fashion, makeup, following celebrities and all that. If you need more than that, if you need more than a pretty face, somebody whose brain is sharp, make sure you get her now. But if you need a decoration, ornaments, somebody you hang and be showing off, this is my beautiful wife, was, oh, she's beautiful, but after that beauty, nothing comes out. Like, she can't even hold meaningful communication. You can go ahead and marry any beautiful face you see. But if you need somebody you can communicate with, have an emotional bonding with, intellectual arguments and everything, make sure you find her now, because it makes marriage so interesting. I and my husband, we communicate at every level. I'm not saying this just to say. He knows I have something to offer. I know he has something to offer. So we discuss, not just whether I love you, he loves me. Now, who is remembering all that? We talk about things. We talk about businesses. We talk about maybe things that people do. We discuss things, and then we analyze, summarize, and whatever. That intimacy makes the marriage, like, it spices it up. Don't just think that intimacy is about the bed. No, it's not. So intellectually, emotionally, physically, of course, intimacy must be there in marriage. I listened to one man of God one day, and he said something that made me laugh. He said, women are given the power to talk, that women can talk. And if you want to marry a woman as a wife, you must listen. Like, it's her duty to talk, and it's your duty to do what? To listen. Like, we women, we have a lot of things to say. Please don't be like shunning her or not giving her time to discuss or talk. Like, she may see something that's why you see some people say, my husband is my gossip mate, my husband is my confidant, stuff like that. It makes women happy. So please, when your wife comes to talk, listen to her. Another very important thing you should know, in fact, you should have in mind, is boundaries. Learn to respect your wife's boundary. Like, when we talk about boundary here, there are things your wife will not want you to encroach into. One of them is like maybe past. her past experiences. If she shared it with you, no problem. Yes, that she shared it with you also doesn't give you the right to come and use it and judge her now, like presently. That one is one. Another thing is her own individual space. Like there are things women wouldn't want you to do. Like we protect our backs a lot because a lot of things are always in our backs. So you don't have even the right as a husband to start searching or uncovering her back. Okay, let me not use that one. What about phones? A husband who will want to, go through the wife's phone and everything. I don't know. What are you looking for? What do you want to see? You see, there are things. If she allows you to go through her phone, there's no problem. If she locks her phone and you ask her the pin, she said, no, leave my phone. Leave it for her. Any boundary that your wife has set for herself, please allow her. There may be things she wants to keep to herself. Give her time to share them with you. If she says, no, 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 I don't want this, don't do this to me, or, no, leave this one like this, or please allow her. You didn't marry her to rob her of her individuality. Like I always say, so please respect her boundaries. If you want to make your wife feel, loved, apart from I love you and all those general ones that everybody expects, try to be empathetic. Like empathy is very, very okay. What does it mean? Put yourself in her shoes. Don't always, focus on your own feeling or how you want her to treat you or how it should be because you are the man. Try to also understand how she is feeling. Put yourself in her shoe. That way, when she is sad, you can be sad with her too. When she is happy, you can be happy with her too. Because if you're empathizing with her in her time of weakness, you will be there to support her. Bear this in mind because it makes the marriage a safe haven for both the man and the woman. Before I say this point, let me also say this. If you are this kind of man that you feel inferior when people around you survive more than you, please don't go and marry a career-oriented woman or a self-sufficient and independent woman because that marriage will always have a lot of conflict. Why am I saying this? You have to celebrate your wife's successes. Like if she's achieving, you're supposed to be celebrating. But I've seen a lot of men when their wives are, achieving, they want to subdue them, like they want to ridicule or try to make sure they stop them. Like a man stopping a wife who is already a manager in the bank, maybe because he's not feeling safe or because he's thinking that when the woman has money more than him and all that, maybe disrespect will come and everything. This idea of generalizing everything when women in charge, women in this, no, don't generalize. Allow it to happen first before you now look for how to stop it, okay? Instead of stopping or trying to put tap it or whatever. No, you have to celebrate your wife's success. That's what you're supposed to do as a husband. So if you cannot do it, if you are struggling with inferiority complex as a man, don't go and marry somebody who is a great achiever because marriage demands that you celebrate her, applaud her, support her, encourage her to do what? To bring out the best in her. So if you cannot do it, please stay in your mother's house. One day I was discussing with my former boss, a woman. So we are talking about some men leaving the house and telling their wives, I am coming. So she was like, I am coming is not a destination. You get? Telling your wife I am coming didn't tell her where you are going. Apart from saying you don't want her to monitor you. What about if you fall into a problem there and she doesn't even know? Look, how stupid will it be that maybe something happens to you and people comes home to ask your wife about you and she will say, I don't know where my husband went. Like they will look at her as either she's stupid or maybe something is wrong with the relationship. Why am I saying this? Team player is what matters in marriage. You are no longer alone. You have to adapt to the change that marriage brings. You are no longer alone. You are not just doing things because you are in charge and everything. There is somebody there. You've kept somebody at home. When the children comes, they are also there. So please learn to be a team player. If you're not a team player, start learning now. Otherwise, you're going to face a lot of issues in your marriage. One day somebody told me that it's wrong to listen to people whose marriages have soured. Like it's wrong getting marriage advice for people whose marriages have soured. Oh, I felt so bad. Like, so some people's marriages have soured. What does it mean? It means that there is no longer romance in the relationship. They are now, should I say, cohabiting. Nobody is, caring about the other person and everything. No, no, no. It shouldn't be so. Why am I always emphasizing on making the right choice? Is I've sat down to remember. In fact, to understand that sometimes marriage will take the most part of your life. I mean, people who married at 20 years, they will spend 20 years in their father's house and then spend like 50 years, as God permits, maybe with their husbands or with their wives. If this is going to take a very large part of your life, that means you have to be very, very careful. Okay? So can you tell me how you can stay in a soured marriage? Like after 10 years of marriage, your marriage has gone cold. The romance is no longer there, the love is no longer there, or that is romance. Love is different from romance. All those gestures and taking them out and making things, rekindling the fire, igniting the fire, making things interesting and everything. Please don't stop. My husband told me one day that nobody, because I told him, man, when we are in courtship, like I enjoyed this relationship more than now that we are married though. I was like teasing him and everything. He told me one thing. He said, who they do campaign after election? No, 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 no. Even though you've been elected into office, that campaign should be there. Okay, that's what it means. That's what I'm saying here. Even though you are married, you are now, husband and wife. Try to be campaigning from time to time. Yeah, you've won the election, you are now the president or you are now the governor. Man, you still need that campaign. So please don't forget that. It's so important. If marriage is so boring, I mean, life is over. There's one other important one I want you to bear in mind now that you want to get married, or even though you are married already. Okay, memories, good memories. Good memories are good. Why did I say they are good? It gives us something to fall back on that helps to promote forgiveness. Okay, make sure that the good memories your wife has with you is more than the bad memories. It's not right that every time she remembers you, it's all about quarreling, fighting, maybe physical abuse, verbal abuse, and everything. No, let there be some good times. In fact, let the good times be more than the bad times. It will help. It will help a lot. Like I said, there will be so many things to forgive in marriage because we are not angels. So these good memories that you could share together, these good moments, simple moments, maybe cooking together in the kitchen, laughing about something, walking, strolling in the evenings, taking some walks around, taking her out and everything, making sure there are, more laughter and jokes and stuff like that. It is very, very important to make sure that your marriage has them. So if nobody has told you any of these things, please, 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 please make sure you remember them before. In fact, understand them. Assimilate everything I've said there before you pop that question, will you marry me? These things will make your marriage so interesting and maybe heavenly for both you and your wife. Okay, it's not just about wedding is like a drama. It's like maybe that should we say initiation process into marriage. So the things that keeps marriages working are all these things I've listed there. In fact, there are so many of them, but at least these ones are paramount, and I've tried my best to at least explain them to you. Don't just go into this institution blindly. You really need to be informed. Share this video, all right? Comment. If you have something to ask, you can ask in the comment section, all right? I love you. I'll be seeing you in the next video.